Donkey Kong, it's a game. Let's do that, I guess. I don't know. And because I love you and hate sleep in a social life, I'm going to be testing not 1, not 2, but 3 different AI algorithms. I thought it would be cool to like compare all the algorithms I've used on previous projects on a single project and see who wins. I'm talking the best of the best. We got genetic algorithm, we got neural evolution of augmented topologies, and we got proximal policy optimization going head to head. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Game first, AI later. Okay, let's make Donkey Kong. Okay, player on screen done. It's a square. Very nice. Creative work. Nice. Now I could move around the player using Unity's built-in physics system, but that will animate the player way too smoothly, and in order for it to have that classic arcade feel, it's got to have a bit of jank movement in it. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to be a big boy and code the physics myself. Okay, let's move that player. Can it go right? Yes. Can it go left? Close enough. Can it jump? Well, yeah, close. Gravity, yes. Less gravity, yes. Fuck yeah, everything is coming together. This must be what God felt like. Dude, you're just moving a square around the sideways jumping, yes. Sideways jumping and gravity at the same time, yes. Whoa. Holy shit, he cannot be stopped. Ground, no. Oof. Ground, no. Tutorial.
Turns true or false depending on whether the move was successfully
Yes. Ground. No. Fuck. Ground. No. This is getting annoying. Ground. No. That's actually pretty aesthetically pleasing, but it's not at all what we're looking for. Ground. Oh, no. But we're close. We're close and I can feel it. Ground. Yes. Yeah. Fucking easy. Bit of a challenge next time. Okay, so the ground's done and it's all looking pretty good now. I know it's nothing revolutionary, but you know, baby steps. So the problem with Donkey Kong is that we're gonna handle these little steps. And it's not like a smooth slope either. It's a bunch of individual steps. You see, if I try this now, it's just gonna... Oh, what? It already works. I don't understand. It never works first try. Fuck, this has never happened before. Oh, I'm scared. Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. It's fucked up. Woo! It's fucked. The code's fucked. Oh, it can't step down. Oh, that was close. Ooh, false alarm, false alarm. Okay, here's a more extreme version of the problem. We ain't falling right. Luckily, this is a pretty easy thing to solve. Just shoot a laser down and see if there's ground beneath us. If there is ground beneath us, then we don't apply gravity because then we will fall through the ground and that's bad. But if there isn't any ground beneath us, then we're good to switch gravity back on. Okay, here's a clip of the code working on the first attempt. Honestly, if you fell for that, that's on you. You have not been paying attention. But I did manage to get it to work on the second attempt. What are you, stupid? Don't you again? What, you think just because it's literally my entire job to make these games that I would be competent at it? You fool. But on the third attempt, I did manage to get things working. Or didn't I? I'm in your head now. You got no idea what to think. No, I'm just kidding. It's working now. I got it. Okay, so now that we got the little steps working, we should be able to create the Donkey Kong stage. And we'll have our dude run around it and shit. It'll be great. Okay, so let's position the floor blocks so they align with the stage and send it. Oh, you bastard! Fuck you! Damn it! I thought I had it. Fuck! Okay, I think we're good. I didn't even know what was wrong with that one. Something to do with when the dude collides with like 2 floors at the same time, everything shits the bed. I don't know. It's probably fixed now. Honestly, who knows? Okay, it's floor placement montage time. You beauty, let's go, brother. Easy. Okay, sweet. So this does work, but it does also look like shit. So let's make the floors a bit prettier. Now, I could get the floor texture from the game and apply it to all the squares and make sure all the pixels and shit line up, and then I would have to do it for all the ladders and shit as well. Or I could just grab a screenshot of the game, edit out of the characters, and set the floors to be invisible. And boom, it's done. Magic. Okay, now we're looking good. And you can kind of tell what game this is supposed to be. Mainly from all the stolen art assets, but that's still a win. Plagiarism, more like Salager. I'll kill myself soon. Don't worry. Fuck me. That was terrible. Okay, ignoring that thing that happened, it's ladder time. Ladders are actually pretty easy. Just check if the player is colliding with a ladder, and if it is, it can move up and down. Yep, or you can just blip out of existence. That works too. Yeah, okay, real funny. Yeah, it went down instead of up. Wow. Okay, now you're just taking the piss. All right, fuck you. Hey, ladders are done. Okay, wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, but we got there. To make the ladders work, I added some things for the players to collide with. One at the top of the ladder, which tells us when the player should get off at the top, and another one at the bottom telling you when you can get off there. Now we just need to copy and paste the ladder colliders and readjust them to fit, and the ladders are done. You beauty, we're getting there. Okay, it's starting to look really good now, but the main dude is still just a square, which is a bit shit. So let's work on that. One art theft later, and I got the run sprites. But because I'm a good boy and Nintendo has lawyers, I'm going to switch them up a little bit. Yep, perfect. Also, it's my first time doing Unity 2D sprite stuff, so there was a lot of tutorial watching that was cut out of that time lapse, but we got it. It's happening. Okay, next up, it's barrel time. The barrels move by going in a single direction, and then if they hit a wall, they bounce off and turn around. They can also climb down ladders sometimes. You know how barrels love to climb down ladders, pretty standard barrel stuff. Most of the collision and movement logic is actually pretty similar to the players, so I'm just literally gonna copy paste that bitch and change a couple of details so they can move like barrels. And yeah, not bad. Time to make them pretty. I tried to add some code bullet branding on the barrels, but it just looked like shit, so I reverted to the original design because fuck me for trying to be creative, I guess. All right, very nice. I also did all the logic on the barrels climbing down ladders and shit, but honestly, who the fuck cares? They can climb now. How? They just can. Stop asking questions. Next, it's time to add our boy, the thick lad himself. Now, in order to understand the algorithm behind Donkey Kong's behavior, I found a video of the game and analyzed all the animations, the frequency of the barrel throws, along with the consistency of the throwing window. But then I got distracted and watched memes for like an hour and promptly forgot everything I learned. But after analyzing it again the next day, I was ready. And I'll have you know, I fucking nailed it. Yeah, this is way better. Try getting up the ladders now, you fat piece of shit. This is dumb. I got no idea what these ones are doing, but it's very intimidating. Right, well, as fun as that was, let's get our boy looking right, and let's get him to also just settle the fuck down. Okay, here it is. You gonna throw another one, buddy, or you just vibing up there? Okay, you just vibing up there. That's okay, you do you, bud. Fair enough. Okay, maybe a little too chill, maybe. Okay, here we go. He's finally doing something with his life. Good for him, that makes one of us. So previously when I coded all the player movement speed and the gravity and the jump height and stuff, I just like kind of fucking eyeballed it. So let's get that more spot on. I did this by just playing the game a bunch and seeing if my version feels about right. It's a very scientific process. And now all we need to do is restart the game when the player hits a barrel and add the bitch and we're done, baby. Yo! I mean, pretty easy game. It's a Donkey Kong. It's not fucking Elden Ring. But, you know, still a win. And I know there's going to be a bunch of people in the comments that are going to be like, oh, there's other barrels that light on fire and turn into a fire demon thing that follows the player. And there's also a bunch of other levels and moving platforms and conveyor belts and different enemies and Donkey Kong guy moves sometimes and shit. And to those people I say, can't be fucked. This shit's close enough. Plus, did you miss the part where I was struggling to get the fucking floor to work for like 4 hours? It wasn't a moving platform. It was the floor. So I ain't up for that shit. You can watch all the other YouTube videos where someone tries to remake Donkey Kong from scratch and then add 3 different AIs to it. Oh, wait, you can. There aren't any. You should call the FTC because this shit's a fucking monopoly, baby. Woo! I can do what the fuck I want. You're lucky you got barrels that can fucking move. Would have made the AI shit way easier if they couldn't. Okay, sorry. Now that I'm finished addressing the like 4 people in my audience that actually cared about that, I'll move on. And you know what time it is, baby? Let's AI that bitch. Okay, so bachelor number 1 is genetic algorithm. ChatGPT, do my job for me. What is the genetic algorithm?
The genetic algorithm.
Oh my god, it's a guy. Is it weird that I thought it would be a chick? I think it's weird that I thought it would be a chick.
Evolution, which can be used to optimize problems.
Optimize problems, yeah.
It involves representing potential solutions as chromosomes, creating initial populations of these chromosomes, and iteratively applying operations such as selection, recombination, and mutation to evolve towards better solutions. The algorithm operates on the principle that fitter individuals are more likely to be selected for reproduction, leading to the progressive improvement of the population over generations. The process continues until a satisfactory solution is found or a stopping criteria is reached.
Thanks, mate. That was shit. Okay, let's actually explain this. The genetic algorithm is simply just human beings playing God and utilizing the power of evolution to solve shit that we can't be fucked doing by hand. In evolution, God spits out a bunch of children with different traits. Some of them have useful traits like scissor hands or lizard scales or an extra nipple. Most of these children get eaten by lions because nature's fucking scary. But some of them survive and pass down their traits to the next generation. And the next generation repeats repeats the process of building on the traits of the previous generation, and so they now have flamethrower hands or dragon scales or 2 extra nipples. Did that make sense? Probably not. It's just evolution. Have you read a book, like, ever? It's just that. So the vague flowchart for this algorithm is this. Create a bunch of random children. Test out those children by making them play Donkey Kong. Give each player a score based on how well they did at Donkey Kong. In this case, that score will be how high the player got. Next, we need to choose which players will be the parents for the next generation. This is done somewhat randomly using the scores of the players. So a player with a score of 2 will be twice as likely to be chosen as a player with a score of 1. Once we have all the parents, make copies of them to fill out the next generation. Now, if we just run these guys, it's not going to really achieve much because they are just perfect copies of the previous generation. So they will do just as well as the previous generation, which is not what we want. We want them to improve. So that's why we have the important step of mutation. This is where we make small changes to the player's brains so they'll act slightly differently than their parents. Some of these mutations will make the players worse, but some of them will make them better, and that's the whole point of the algorithm. Okay, next generation is done, and now we need to test them, and so we're back into the testing phase, and whammy, we just repeat the whole process, test the players, evaluate their fitness function, select the parents which did the best, mutate their babies, and repeat, test, evaluate, select, mutate. Bam! That's an algorithm, baby. Let's go. Now, an important thing to explain is I said that we make small changes to the player's brain, but I haven't actually described what the player's brain is. In this case, our brain is simply a list of instructions which tell the players what to do. It's no fancy neural network or anything like that. It's simply a list of instructions. So when we mutate the brain, and yes, I know brain is the strong word for what we're talking about, but you're looking at a guy who can call a single if statement an AI. So what do you expect? Fuck off. Anyway, when we mutate the brain, we are simply just changing one of the instructions from left to jump or from right to do nothing. Right, and that's pretty much it. There are some intricacies that I left out, but this is the longest I've gone without telling a dick joke, and this is the simplest of the 3 algorithms, so we gotta move on. Another important thing to know is that we're gonna grow the number of instructions as the training continues. This way the players can master the first 10 moves before they move on to the next 10. Okay, enough nerd talk, let's fucking send it. Oh yeah, right, I remember I suck at this. Forgot that for a second. It really undermines the whole intelligent explanation thing. Oh well, let me spend probably like 4 hours bug fixing and then we'll resend it. Yeah, that sucked, but she's working now, so let's go. All right, we got the lads going. At the start, they don't really have many moves to work with, so they can pretty much only just go to the right. By Generation 10, we got more moves to play with, so they figure out ladder is up and up is good, so we should ladder. At this point, before the barrels come down, it's not that challenging really at all. You can pretty much guess what they're gonna do. They're gonna go up and they're gonna take the ladders. So we're gonna zoom through these generations pretty quickly. By Generation 51, they get their first taste of barrel, and they do not like it. Luckily, they make it up the ladder just in time to be able to jump over it. All right, I'm going to let you enjoy the time-lapse here, because frankly, I don't know what to talk about. Just chill out, vibe, enjoy the music, and watch the guys jump around. You'll figure it out. I'm sure your monkey brain can find a way to be entertained. Actually, I'm just going to put this here. Yeah, that'll be better. There you go. That's for my Gen Z audience. Enjoy. Yeah, they did it. Here's a rerun for everyone who was too distracted by the card to actually pay attention to what was going on with the AI, but here it is. I like this bit. It's just like, hold, and hope for the best. And then you motherfucker. They definitely shouldn't be able to do that. That's definitely not how the game should end. Oh well, I'm not changing that now. Wow, the genetic algorithm is so impressive. I can't believe how good the AI's working. Mute button's not working. Hold on. Did you see them jumping over all the barrels? Wow, they even climbed the ladders. Oh, I found it. Okay, there we go. That AI might look pretty, but honestly, it's pretty shit and quite basic. Now, let's not discredit all my previous content that uses this algorithm. It has its upsides. It's fairly simple to program. It's very reliable, pretty much guaranteeing a successful player. And it looks pretty, so if you're a lazy YouTuber, then it's perfect. But there is a big problem at the core of this algorithm, and that's the player's brain. This shit is garbage. It has no concept of where the barrels are or what a ladder is or anything. It really hasn't learned shit. If we change the conditions even a tiny bit, then then it completely breaks because it just does the same actions. I had to use a fixed random seed for this game because if the barrels were allowed to randomly choose whether or not they climb down a ladder, then everything breaks. If you watch the first barrel in every generation, then you can see that it always makes the exact same decisions. That's because this algorithm can't handle any level of randomness, because then the jump timings would be off and everything gets fucked and it dies. Again, it's not thinking, oh, there's a barrel in front of me, I should jump. It's like, oh, my 43rd instruction is to jump, so I jump. Also, if we start the player just like a little bit to the left, then it completely fucks up because it's assuming that the ladders are going to be there and the barrel timings are all wrong. It's just a mess. Okay, you get it. That's enough shitting on my own content. The genetic algorithm, I give it 6 out of 10. All right, it's time for Bachelor number 2. ChatGPT, you're up again. Don't fuck it this time.
NEAT, which stands for Neuroevolution of Augmenting Topologies, is a type of machine learning algorithm that uses an evolutionary approach to optimize neural networks. The idea behind NEAT is to start with a simple neural network.
Okay. Shut the fuck up. This sucks. Shut up.
ChatGPT
okay,
said.
I guess I'll have to do my job again. That's like twice in one video. Fucking tragic. Anyway, NEAT is also a genetic algorithm. So like the previous technique, we're going to be utilizing evolution. Yeah, let's reuse that graphic. Evolution. But unlike the previous algorithm, this bad boy is way more advanced. First of all, none of that list of instructions stuff, that's some pussy shit. This is a big boy algorithm, so we're going to be using a big boy neural network. So the player's brains are like actually brains, which is nice. We're moving up in the world. If you don't know what neural networks are, they're like little magic spider webs. You put the inputs in this end, and then some magic math shit happens in the middle, and then spits out an output. Now, the sexiest thing about this algorithm is the augmented topologies. Without this, the algorithm would just be nah, which is way less marketable. Anyway, augmented topologies means that the structure of the neural network can evolve over time. Most of the time when you're dealing with neural networks, you have to define the size and shape of the neural network before you start training it. So you just kind of pull a size out your ass and be like, yeah, this feels right, and then just hope for the best. NEAT doesn't fuck with that. Instead, it starts with a very small neural network, which can perform very basic behaviors. Then over the generations will evolve into a larger neural network, resulting in more complex behaviors and strategies. Plus, this shit just looks really cool, so that's always a plus. That's like the main difference with this algorithm is just swapping out the instructions for a brain. But there are a heap of smaller things that it does to make this actually closer to the evolution that we find in nature. It does shit like pooling players into different species, and instead of cloning one parent, this algorithm actually combines the brains of 2 parents to create a child. It's actually a pretty dope algorithm, and if I explained everything that this bad boy does, it will be here all day, and I got Netflix to watch, so I ain't doing that shit. Before we send it, we need to define 2 things, the inputs and the fitness function. Think of the inputs as just what the players can see. Too many inputs and the player will be overwhelmed and not be able to achieve anything. Too little inputs and the player won't be able to do anything because it's just blind as fuck. So the inputs for Donkey Kong are the X and Y position of the player, whether or not the player is touching the ground, whether or not the player is currently climbing a ladder, whether or not the player is currently colliding with a ladder, the relative positions of the ladders on this level, and finally the relative position and velocity of the closest barrel. After a bunch of testing, these 10 seem to be the best inputs, but I don't know, maybe there's some better ones out there, but these are the ones you're getting. Okay, the other thing we need to define is the fitness function, which once again will be the height of the player. Plus added some bonus points if the player manages to not get hit by a barrel. Okay, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty much copy-paste the same algorithm, but just fancy neural network brain thing. Okay, easy, let's send it. Okay, first couple of generations, as you expect, are kind of pretty ass. They do figure out if you go to the right, then you go up a bit, and that's good, I guess, but still, obviously not great. But Generation 5, some of them actually figure out how to climb ladders, which is a good start. You're gonna need that. Most of them just fall off immediately after climbing the ladder because they just go to the right. But this guy, look at this guy. Look at him go. What a star. Holy shit. Because the movement of the barrels is random now, how well the players do really depends on luck here. Sometimes they have fairly good attempts getting to the second last level, but sometimes they all die immediately. So at this point, it's really up to chance at how they do. Alright, after sending the training for a while now, we finally get to this run. Watch this. Clean stuff, boys. Clean, easy. Oh, finally. Oh, they're so close. No! No! Damn it, that was so close. You asshole. Okay, more training. They made it. Oh, no, what? What are you doing? Oh, no, you there. Hey! Alright, so yeah, we had the first successful run at level 67. They figured out that I didn't have any collision detection on the Donkey Kong. So they just kind of hung out behind him for a bit before deciding to go up the ladder. Okay, let's see how good these guys can get. And these are the guys we got after 178 generations of training. They're still doing the thing where they vibe behind Donkey Kong for kind of no fucking reason, but apart from that, not bad. So that was pretty neat. Shut up. Sorry, yeah, so that was an AI. To be honest, not the most impressive showing I've ever seen, but it did its best. At the end, we got an AI that can sometimes win, which ain't bad, but there are huge problems with this. This is the brain of the AI. If you look closely, you might notice that there are no connections to this top right node. This is the output that is responsible for the jump controls. Yep, that means this AI can literally never jump, which is a bold strategy, seeing that that's like a massive component of the game. Pretty sure the main character in this is called Jumpman. That was like the one thing he had going for him. Now he's literally just a guy. So most of its strategies result in nervously running away from barrels and praying that they decide to go down the ladders. Fuck. In its defense, this sometimes works. It sometimes definitely doesn't, but it does sometimes work. And it was able to get to the top. But, you know, I feel like it's not too much to ask for that the AIs can fucking jump. Am I being crazy? Am I the asshole? Apart from the jumping, and to reiterate, that is a big problem. Another problem is the size of the brains that Neat can create. They're kind of small. If we want to have strategies that are a bit more complex than if barrel near, run from barrel, we're going to need something a bit bigger. So to work with bigger brains, we're going to bring in my personal favorite machine learning algorithm. Yep, it's time for I give Neat like 7.5 out of 10. I don't know why I'm rating these. They all have their own merits, and none of them can be said to be objectively better. That being said, it's time for an algorithm that is objectively better. Okay, last but not least, time for bachelor number 3. And yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest here. I don't really know how this bad boy works. I know broadly what it is and what it's used for, but as for the specifics of what the fuck is going on behind the scenes, I've got nothing. I've tried to research it, but a lot of the information looks something like this. And you know, life's just too short for this shit. As soon as some letters are wearing little hats, then I know I'm out of my depth. Okay, ChatGPT, please. At this time, I actually need your help, so come on, do not disappoint me.
Proximal policy optimization is a reinforcement learning algorithm that is used to train agents to perform a variety of tasks.
Okay, this much I knew, and yeah, we're just gonna ignore everything else he said. I'll save you the time. It's all technical bullshit that means nothing. Okay, so unlike the other two, this is a completely different category of machine learning algorithm. Instead of emulating evolution, this bad boy more emulates how a brain learns things. Think more trial and error than, you know, making babies. We just have our AI fuck around in the world, and whenever it does something that we don't want it to do, we punch it in the dick. And whenever it tries to do something that we like, we tickle its balls or something, I don't know. And then the PPO algorithm takes these rewards and punishments and modifies the brain so it's more likely to get ball tickles and dick punches. How does PPO do this? Brother, your guess is as good as mine. Something to do with proximal policies, I suppose. But luckily, we don't need to understand that to be able to use it because of a little magic thing called other people's code. Other people have sacrificed their social lives to be able to understand this, and I thank them for their service. Okay, so let's talk Donkey Kong. Once again, we're going to need to define the inputs to the neural network. PPO is a much more powerful algorithm than Neat, so it can handle way more inputs. When I used PPO for the Walkie Boys, it had something like 224 inputs, which is a lot more than 10, which we had for Neat. So first of all, let's grab the 10 inputs from Neat. Now, the Neat AIs only knew where the closest barrel was, but for PPO, we're going to tell it where the closest 5 barrels are and what their velocities are. So that's an extra 16 inputs with a total of 26. Nothing compared to the 224 for the Walkie Boys, but it's still a few. We also have to define a bunch of things called hyperparameters, which set things like how long we're going to train for and the learning rate and the amount of random actions the player should do and stuff like that. So I'll just do that. Yeah, don't worry about it. And also we need to define the size of the brain. It big. Okay, great. Fair enough. Now for the reward functions, this is when we're giving them the ball tickles and the dick punches. I'll reward them for whenever they are gaining height. Jumping doesn't count towards that. Otherwise the players will just jump forever, racking up that mad dopamine. We don't want that. So the height has to be from climbing or going up the stairs. And they'll also get a fat reward if they reach the bitch at the top. As for punishments, I will punish them whenever the players are hit by a barrel or if they go down at all. We don't want that shit. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's so much more I could be talking about, which is why I generally don't like to explain things because it fucking takes ages. But that'll do. You get the gist. Okay, let's send it. All right, we got the lads going. We got like 50 or so fellas running at the same time. Now, they do all share the same brain. Think of it like kind of like a hive mind situation. So all the lads are out trying to get experiences, and then they send those experiences back to the main brain, which then updates itself and then controls all the players. Also, you notice some of them are like falling down the ladder. For the life of me, I've got no fucking idea what's going on there. So instead of actually fixing that problem, I just penalize the shit out of them if they fall. And so hopefully they should learn to not do that. So instead of actually fixing the problem, I'll just train the AI to not do that. Yeah, slowly and surely they are making progress. Same as neat, how well the players do is very luck-based. Like if the barrels take as many ladders as they can and just beeline it for the players, it pretty much kills them instantly. But they're learning to avoid that. And if you look closely, they are actually jumping, which is fantastic. Didn't think that'd be something I'd be celebrating so much, but here we are. So we're like 25 minutes into the training. The lads have been stuck on like the second level for ages. This is mainly because you can get to the second level without really worrying about the barrels because it takes them some time to reach that point. But as soon as you get to the third level, you start to experience the barrels. So it's at this point where the players actually have to learn how to jump over the barrels and stuff, which is like way harder than learning how to just climb ladders. And so for a while, they just decided it wasn't worth it. It was easier just staying on the second level. But now they've kind of started to figure out how to avoid the barrels to some degree. So they are actually making it further. Sorry about the frame rate, that's just gonna happen. But look at this, look, they're ready. Hey! That counts. One guy went to the right, not the play, but one guy made it. But even though we've got one guy to the top once, that doesn't mean that the AI has learned how to do it well. You can see still most of the players are dying. Sometimes they are reaching the top, but it's only like 1 or 2 players. So hopefully we can get to a point where it's way more consistent. But they actually reached the top fairly quickly. That was only like 30 minutes of training, which normally for PPO, it can take fucking ages. So that's really good. All right, let's crank it for like another half an hour and see how good they get. Crank it was a weird choice of words. I meant like just run it. Crank it sounds like you're jerking it. All right, let's jerk it for another half an hour and see what happens. All right, we've successfully cranked it. But yeah, look at them go. There's actually some times where they do all die, but most of the time, most of them get to the top, which is pretty good. I tried running it for many more cranks, but it didn't really improve the play as much. This is about as good as they get. Now, I know that was hard to see because it was sped up as fuck, so here it is at normal speed. And as you can see, they're doing pretty well. They're actually doing some pretty dope shit. He's like waiting for barrels to pass before climbing ladders, and he's successfully jumping over them. It's pretty good stuff. They seem to fuck up at the last stage a lot. I think that's just because the barrel appears out of nowhere, so it's just like a jump scare and then they die. To be fair, I probably should have told them how long until Donkey Kong throws the next barrel, but is what it is. We're past that point now. I was actually somewhat disappointed with how well they did at this. They did fairly well, but it took me so long to get this working. And I figured if it can fly a plane and walk a human, then it should crush Donkey Kong, right? Hey, why don't you just change the rewards a little bit? Maybe that'll help. Okay. Shut up. Let's go behind the scenes a little bit and give you a glimpse of what it's like to use this algorithm. It probably looks like this was my first attempt at running the algorithm because editing, but it's probably closer to my 20th. Here's some things that I tried to see if they would improve the algorithm. Bigger neural networks, smaller neural networks, normalizing inputs, requesting decisions manually, seeing less barrels, seeing more barrels, higher learning rate, longer training, lower learning rate, higher reward for climbing, higher penalty for death, penalty for just chilling in the corner because they fucking love that shit for some reason. Change the learning rate algorithm, higher time horizon, smaller buffer size, and more players. So those are some of the things I tried. And each experiment is like a couple of hours, so yeah, I fucking tried, alright? There's some more things that I could have tried, like feeding it in a picture of the screen, raycast inputs, coin-based rewards, rewards for jumping over barrels, or incremental learning by slowly increasing the difficulty. All these things I could do, but yeah, I've already done 2 whole other algorithms for this video, so I'm pretty happy with calling it there. And I think this fairly well illustrates a big annoyance with this algorithm, and that's just how many things you have to tweak to get it to work. It's a bitch, and it takes ages. So because of that, I give PPO an 8 out of 10. It's still a banger when you get it to work, but getting it to work is a pain. I went into way more of the technical side of things in this video, kind of to counteract the last video. We don't talk about the last video, but if you enjoyed learning a bit more about the technical side behind the AI, then you're gonna love the sponsor of this video, Brilliant.org. Brilliant.org is a dope way to learn maths and computer science interactively. If you're interested in neural network stuff, and you're here, so you are, then oh boy, are you gonna be eating well with the Introduction to Neural Networks course. Just look at some of this banger content. We've got interactive neural networks that show how the connections and neurons work together to predict which shape you're drawing. Oh baby, that's the stuff. And they've got a whole lesson walking you through how this bad boy works. It's also got lessons on how we use math to replicate the activation of a neuron, and it's got lessons on why we have a bunch of hidden layers, that's these guys in the middle of the neural network. They've got so much stuff. They've got content for days with literally thousands of lessons to pick from. So what are you waiting for? I don't know. I just wish there was a way we could experience everything Brilliant.org has to offer for free for like a full 30 days. Well, do I have good news for you, because you can experience everything Brilliant.org has to offer for free for a full 30 days. days. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay, cool. You just have to go to brilliant.org/codebullet to get the 30-day free trial. Plus, the first 200 people to sign up will get 20% off their annual subscription. Seriously, it's all good stuff, so go check it out. Thanks for watching. That was actually a pretty fun video. It was a bitch getting all the AIs to work. For some reason, I didn't think about the fact that 3 AIs meant 3 times the amount of work, but it all came together well. Yeah. Oh, I should shout out my second channel. I actually should have done that at the start of this video, but, you know, I'm bad at my job. I'm doing a challenge to see how long I can do weekly uploads there for, and so far I've survived for 3 weeks, which is against all odds. At the moment, most of my videos are ChatGPT related, although I swear that's just a coincidence. I'll do other shit. So if you want to see more Code Bullet content, then check it out. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.